Hello, this is the VTID Season 2 Week 1 Pick'ems with Raticake and Juicy Pear.
Yep. I'm back to Pick'ems, and this is 100% going to be up on time because Raticake forced me to do them. Yep.
Yep. So we'll get them out before Week 2
probably
this
like
video will be out.
probably like Thursday or Friday. Um, it'll be up, and we should just get right into it. We got some great games this week,
Yeah.
including our first match, which is a rematch of my opinion and most people's opinion, the best match of last year, which is Arch versus Pesky, which came down to a close 1-0 that was beautiful to watch. And the teams are looking a lot different this year. And like Arch can't be carried by the MVP Mega Venusaur this year, so Arch isn't going to win any games. So yeah, that's why I'm taking Pesky.
Yeah, so I also chose Pesky. I know I was kind of obsessed with Arch last season, but yeah, I just agree that I do like Arch's team this year, not as much as I did last year. But I still like it, but I just think that Pesky has better answers for Arch Fiend's offensive pressure, and then has Blastphalon. I don't know if I said it right, but yeah, whatever.
You butchered that.
It was better than last time. He has that as a Z-Mon, which can just kind of wreak havoc, especially once Pesky gets rid of.
But it does have Heatran as a check.
Yeah, I would say once he gets rid of Heatran, which I guess that can be a little tricky. Pesky doesn't have Pesky has answers, but doesn't have like a solid ground type outside of his. I think his only ground type is Piloswine. Doesn't have something to just take that out easily. But once that thing is gone, it looks like that Pesky Z-Mon, which I'm not gonna try to say again, can kind of just wreak havoc.
What, Greninja?
Yep.
Yeah. Also, this other point, Pesky has the God Sudowoodo, so that's kind of like an insta-win. So
Yeah. I think this still will be a decent battle.
yeah, I think it'll be a great match because it's two really good battlers.
Yeah, and it'll be
The
very
reigning champion versus the coach who had the best record but then choked in playoffs.
Yeah.
You're never gonna escape it, Arch. You're never gonna escape it.
And Arch really kind of played down to their opponents last season, I thought. Whereas Pesky played an absolutely amazing game, but some of the other games just kind of relied on his team building to carry him. So with this new team that I would say isn't quite as solid, and it looks like you're gonna really have to play a bit better with, or you can't just make all of the easy plays or just slight. You're gonna have to predict a bit more. I'm really interested to see how Archfiend does, but I think Pesky takes it just because.
Just one more thing I have to say. So this is clear, and I'm gonna say this every week like I did last year. Pesky's winning the league again.
Yep.
I said it every single video. Well, most videos. And look what happened. Pesky won the league. Am I the best analyst? Question mark. Maybe.
Yes.
Cake's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on to our next match, which is another good matchup. Another matchup of a good game last year, which was the top two from the grass division. This was a rematch of a semifinal game that was actually pretty close. And we got Wolf versus MX. Now, we're actually split on this one. You got Wolf, I got MX. And yeah, so
I guess I'll take it first. Why I'm going with Wolf over MX. I guess looking at it, since it's week 1, I think this will be a little trickier for Wolf than if it would have been down the road, maybe. But one thing I can see happening is kind of MX just trying to have a safer game with builds. And it'll be just a little easier for Wolf to predict, because if you watch the draft recap, I talk about how I'm not a huge fan of Infernape as a tier 1 mon, just because I don't think it's quite at the level of the others. Its big thing is what set it's going to bring, which is why it's an advantage for MX right now because Wolf hasn't seen what sets MX is using, but also
Mhm.
it's a little bit of an advantage for Wolf in the fact that if MX is constantly changing the sets, then it makes it really even harder to plan for whether compared to if you're just seeing that hasn't earned for a Nipe. Overall, I just think Wolf's team, in my opinion, slightly edges out. Uh,
I would have to say the opposite. I love Haxorus. Like in general, as a Xemon in general, it's literally it's my favorite dragon in the format by far. I use it on so many teams. But I gotta give, I mean, MX has so many. His cores are beautiful. Infernape, Milotic Decidui, and then Registeel and Mega Arcaria fills both the dragon and fairy role. And then he's got like a Jolteon mixed in there for really good Volt turn with Infernape and Jolteon. And then Registeel that has just beautiful bulk in 160 in each. And then there's Gliscor, who with the new defog buff can run Poison Heal and defog, so it makes it even better. And I think just this team is like really good. Um, it's got a good mix of bulk and offense. Um, and it's one of my favorite more. It's one of the teams I like more in this league. So
yeah,
yeah, I have to go with MX Plus based on we don't really have much to base it off of. Like Cake said, it's week one. We haven't seen how people perform with their teams. We don't know how if certain people like their team, if they hate their team, if they're out of their comfort zone on their team. So we kind of got to base off two things, which is, I mean, last season was so much harder because for most of us, we didn't know most of the people in the league, so we had to just completely base the first 3 weeks off team building. This we have, to an extent, we have past seasons. There's 5 new coaches, so 6 new coaches. So yeah.
yeah. I guess one thing I'm gonna throw in also just as a little bit. What was I gonna say? Oh, I think the main way MX, in my opinion, will win if MX wins is with setting up with Altaria. That can kind of just destroy Wolf's team, but if MX doesn't get the chance to do that, I think it'll be an extremely hard battle. And then, yeah, so
I
that's
I don't even know if Mega Altaria has to set up with like the pure bulk, and Wolf doesn't have. And Wolf's only ground type is Nidoqueen, which isn't. It's kind of bulky, but it's not stupid bulky, and he can, like, for example, I don't know, but like he has ways to deal with it. And
yeah, yeah. So just I think this will be a good battle.
yeah,
Last season, as we sure, MX didn't have his own team in the first week, but they actually went 1-1, so they're all tied up. So this should be
he,
really exciting. Or yeah,
yeah, he went 1-1 with by far the worst team through the first 2 weeks.
yeah. But so this is kind of like the tiebreaker. I did base it a little more off in teams this year, just because I haven't seen really many of these people outside of this league, so I didn't know if it was just the teams they had last year. Like obviously, I'm putting last season
I
into
honestly didn't even think after MX changed it, his team wasn't honestly that great.
yeah,
He had a few threats, but I don't think it was that great.
yep,
But we're moving on to our next match, which is another pretty big rematch. Not huge like the first two, but like this was the match right after Vesuvius got 6-0'd. And he said, Jason's gonna get smacked, and then he proceeded to destroy Jason. Pretty much completely outplayed him, but nonetheless, it was somewhat good of a match. Um, and we both have Vesuvius. I originally locked Vesuvius, but I changed it for a certain reason you'll see later. And looking at the teams, Jason's team is scary, but I just kind of like Vesuvius' teams a little bit more. Jason does have the sand core with Gigalith Excadrill, which in another league I was in with Jason, a guy had Gigalith Excadrill, Tapu Lele, or no, it was Gigalith Excadrill, and he just swept the league and 6-0'd 3 people, 5-0'd the rest, and he destroyed, and it's like a combo that we kind of laugh about. And because like when you think of sand setters, you think, all right, T-Tar, Hippo, and then Eagle is kind of like that, like odd one out a bit to an extent, and yeah. So.
Yeah. So I guess I also gave it to Vesuvius.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go on.
yeah. I gave it to Vesuvius also. This is one where I think they're very close teams, and this is one that I did base more off of last season compared to some of the other ones. Like Latios and Kirin Black, those are two like just really strong dragon types. I do like Mega Blastoise.
Sylveon and Togekiss, good fairies.
Yeah.
Their teams are very similar.
Like their teams seem to match up decently well. So I kind of just gave it to Vesuvius based off of last season. Was a pretty dominant battler. I also felt like this has a chance. This battle's already happened, but I haven't watched it. Like we haven't watched it. Stack Attacka, if that's how you say it.
Oh my god, it's gyro balls.
Yeah, like it's Vesuvius' Zebon, and I think it could have like a very solid opener in this league, in this game.
Yeah, the thing is, it doesn't even have to run Z. Like, it can be Choice Band, which is one of the most more common sets, just Choice Band Gyro Ball with like the EVs. So like I think it's like 14 IVs and a negative defense nature, and then you get attack raises every time you kill something. Because its defense is already ridiculous. So you run max HP, max defense, or max HP, max attack with like I think it's 14. So like they're both at even stats between your attack and your defense, but it goes to the attack because that has more stats invested into it. And I've used it in OU, and it's a great mon.
Yeah,
but then the other thing is Jason has Grottle, so it's the pre-evolution of a garbage starter. Yeah, fuck you, Wolf. I'm flipping you off right now. So yeah, I gotta give it to Vesuvius.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like list off some things like that stack attacking it. Kirin Black, Togekiss, even like, does he get Earthquake? Does Stack Attacka?
I think so. Yeah, it does.
In that case, it gets like, or without it even, Darmanitan.
A lot of coverage.
Yeah, Darmanitan, Gigalith, Excadrill if it can take a hit. Like, it just hits Jason's team very hard. Sure, it's really slow, so it's probably going to be taking some hits. And if he doesn't have something...
He usually gets off like a kill or two and then dies, but like...
Yeah.
Still,
if
that's a kill or two off the board, and not a lot of things can take a Choice Band Gyro Ball from a 13-speed mon.
Well, and also he has Sylveon that if he wants to wish pass to it, could.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why we both gave it to Vesuvius. We just think pretty close teams. Vesuvius might slightly edge out, and then just last season was a better battler than Jason. So with that, we'll move on to the next.
Yeah, we'll hit up the next match, which is Seb versus Cap. And I hate Cap so much, but I had to give it to him. Jirachi literally sweeps this team. Jirachi pretty much 6-0s this entire team.
Yeah. I guess.
Especially with Serene Grace. Like, you run a Choice Scarf set, like, just going down the board, it pretty much one hit or two hits. Or 1 hit to 2 hits most stuff. And then... if it needs to 2-hit, easy flinch. And some stuff that it can hit, I can just switch out into, like, fucking my Nuke Bomb, Primarina, or, like, it's... Cap's team is very nice with, like, just going on the board. Jirachi, Volcarona, Primarina, Mega Beedrill, Garchomp, Superior. Like, this is, like, a crazy team.
And Espeon.
But then, you gotta remember that it's Cap. So it's not a good player using the team. It's kind of like what happened with Luke last year, where I kept picking him over and over and over again, and then he won like 1 week that I picked him.
Yeah, then also Cap has an Espeon, which Seb has Toxapex as like a tier 2 mon, which could usually do lots of work, but Espeon kind of just, with Magic Bounce, can shut that thing down. Um, yeah, I
Tox can't get up like it'll make it hard for him to get up hazards.
yeah, and I just think that Cap's
I think
team, as you said, edges out.
far superior.
Uh, last season I had lots of faith in Cap. Faith in Cap. I really like Cap's team, and so
But then we learned who Cap's true identity was.
I'm hoping Cap doesn't do me dirty like he did last season.
And I already know he's gonna like fucking hell. And I've heard that Seb is a good battler, but like I haven't seen it in the league. And so I think until I really see that Seb can compete with the higher ups like MX and Wolf and Arch and Pesky, I can't really pick them against teams like that look that far in one person's favor.
Yeah, and so for this one for me, also, so Cap had some games where they played very well, but like for the most part it was a little off. Seb was very streaky. Like Seb started out pretty slow, if I remember right, then had just like a super hot streak in the middle of the season, and then just like
Kind of
dropped.
cooled off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, dropped hard again. So,
Seb
uh,
kept it pretty close, somewhat, yeah, pretty close against Wolf. Some of that can be due to Wolf like playing garbage in playoffs.
yeah,
Like honestly, Wolf, you played awful in playoffs. Like I can't not that any of us didn't expect it. You didn't play that great in playoffs.
but yeah,
Um,
I think if Seb from middle of the season last season comes out, uh, there could beat Cap just because it's playing really well. But if Seb's just playing regular, like it was playing in beginning of last season and also kind of the end of last season, I think Cap just has a very solid matchup and should win this one.
mhm. And I think we're with that. We'll go on to the next match where we got Nathan versus Zombie, which we're both locking for different reasons. I know, but I originally had my lock at Vest, but then I remembered Nathan has Weasel, the literal best mon alive. So I'm like, I gotta go with my boy Weasel, and yeah. So this is a very big dilemma because it's literally my two favorite mons on opposite teams, with Manaphy on Zombie's team and then Weasel on Nathan's team. So I'm kind of torn.
Yeah, so I guess I'll go why I locked Nathan in. I just Victini, Tapu Fini,
Yeah, it's
those plus Salamence, Mega Manetric, just like Nathan has probably like one of my favorite teams. It's just like it's just a super, in my opinion, like well done hyper offense. Has Scolipede to pass speed
yep,
to
that's beautiful.
Victini, Tapu Fini, Porygon Z. Like those can all use the speed really well.
Weasel,
Weasel.
for our choice, man. Weasel, don't sleep.
Um, yeah, and then like I explained this earlier. I really do like Zombies team, so it's like it's weird that I'm locking
But yeah,
in,
they both have
but
beautiful teams.
I think that just like Nathan kind of wins most of the matchups. I think Tapu Fini can kind of wall like half of Zombies team. Like it does well against things like Manaphy can do pretty well against Gudra, Arcanine, unless he has Wild Charge, but still,
Manaphy and Gudra are on the same team.
uh, like like it just does. I think Tapu Fini does super well, and also Nathan is someone I've been in a number of leagues with. I believe he was in the beginning of last season, then he dropped.
Yeah,
He
due to
was
personal issues.
Yeah, he was in another league I was in, and then dropped. But before he drops, and I think I've been in I think I've been in 4 leagues with him, and in
Don't
3 of them
drop
he's
Nathan.
dropped. I think he's dropped 3, or maybe I've been in 5 and he's dropped like 3. I don't know. You know,
Please don't drop.
Nathan almost always starts out super hot.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that the mix of Nathan starting out super well almost every season, and just like I think just has the team matchup. Even though I like both teams, however, Zombie did start out very solid in the beginning of last season too. So let's see.
Yeah. The one thing I do have to point out is both of these teams have disgusting cores. Okay, you look at Nathan's Fire Dragon Steel. Tapu Fini, Cobalion, Salamence. That's gross. But then you go over and look at zombies, and it's even worse. Goodra, Mega Scizor, Clefable. That's, oh god, just thinking of that
Yeah.
makes me not want to play this. So I feel bad for Nathan. But then, zombies, Firewater Grass is even more disgusting with Manaphy, Arcanine, and Celebi. That's beautiful as well. And then Nathan has Victini, Sceptile, which is, and Tapu Fini, and that's really good. And Buizel. Buizel. Don't forget about Buizel.
Yes, of course. So
And he also has debatably he has the best electric, one of the better electric types, fast electric types, and Mega Manectric. That's just a really good mon. So yeah, I think Nathan just has the slight edge, but Zombie's cores are disgusting.
yeah. So I guess kind of like with that, Sceptile can do lots of work in certain games. This game probably not one of them, but like certain games I think can put in so much work. So like I get why picking it up. The only thing that really bothers me is that it's not a Z Cobalion. I think it could have used, but
Yeah.
like
Then again, he had Victini and Salamence, which are two other good ones.
yeah.
I
So
also like. I feel like he had probably trouble picking his Zmons. Like, I see four good Zmons: Cobalion, Victini, Salamence, Scolipede.
yeah, but yeah, I think this is one of the battles I'm most excited for because it's two coaches who, like I've seen play before, have both done all right, but have just, in my opinion, like these are my two favorite teams in the league, and I'm really interested to see how like they start out with it and what they do with these teams.
Mm-hmm.
With that,
I think we can hit up the next game, and this is a D League / off season showdown of the two top seeds between Zeb and Sky. Both of us are picking Zeb, but I feel like Sky has a really good chance to take this one. Um, they both have good teams. Like, Skies is like pretty disgusting in bulk with like Lando T, Starmie, Mega Venusaur, Porygon 2. It's like, ugh, you. But Zeb's got some bulk too with Celesteela, Florges. What else? Tangela's nuts, and Donphan. And but the thing that gave me that I just felt like Zeb played better in off season against better opponents from what I've seen, and I like their team just a little bit more. I like both these teams, but I like their team just a little.
yeah, so I'm kind of coming from a different perspective. I didn't pay attention to the D League really at
I
all.
barely paid attention, but
So I honestly didn't know who won it or anything. But I went with Zeb because I just think that Celesteal can put in so much work this game. Once he gets
offensive MVP last year.
yeah, and once he gets rid of Rotom H, like if Lando T has Smackdown, that can obviously like deal with it. But I just think that Celesteal can, like, Starmie, I guess, can hit with an electric type, but
steal the game.
Yes.
Hey, I want to kill myself.
Yeah, I just think that once it gets going, like if it can get like a speed boost or something, because then it can drop some seed bombs, like heavy slams, whatever. Like it can just wreck Sky's team.
There's two things I want to point out. One, this Zeb's name is Zeb Strika for Ubers, but then he did pick Zeb Strika. So thinking. And two, we're watching offensive MVP from last season versus MVP from last season.
Yeah, with two coaches who it sounds like did very well in the.
But then again, it's off season.
Yeah, but I meant it's not like it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like our A League or whatever. There's a bunch of big name people.
That's true.
But yeah, just because
fucking cabinet.
We had someone not win a game last year.
That's true.
But yeah, so I just.
No, they won a game. Didn't they win a forfeit?
Okay, yeah, I didn't. They had one win to their name, but they didn't win a battle. They didn't come out victorious in a battle. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, I just think that Celestial can do so much work. Could have a slightly I guess he has 2 steel types. Sky does. But Florges could still put in a good amount of work, and I just think that it's another one of those close ones that, in my opinion, Zeb slightly has a better team. But
yeah. So the next battle, I'm honest, I have to take Luke for old time's sake because I need to get him to win one more battle while I pick him. So Luke, please don't let me down. Even though I'm like looking at your team, I honestly can't tell if you're taking the league seriously because half your team it looks like it's taking the league seriously, and half of your team looks like you're not. Because you have a Z Rufflet. Yeah. For folks at home, yes, a Z Rufflet. the shitty Braviary pre-evolution. Yeah, I mean not shitty, godly Braviary pre-evolution. Yeah, it's an interesting team nonetheless. But he does have a fairy. His fairy dragon steel is Zygarde, Ninetales, and Skarmory, which is pretty gross. And he's got some things like Silvally, which I honestly don't think is that great. It's like it has all the types, but it's so limited in the item pool and move pool, and it's pretty predictable. Like for a mon that can get any single type, pretty damn predictable. Based on what you need, and but I think Reuniclus has it has a good chance to sweep with possibly Calm Mind Magic Guard or whatever. But then I look at Nuno's team and I'm contemplating why I picked Luke, and then I remember I need Luke to win. But Nuno's team is disgusting with the Tapu Koko Halucha core, Roserade, which is one of my favorite hazard setters, and grass types, Umbreon, which I have Vietnam flashbacks of using Umbreon and going against Umbreon because that thing is so fucking fat. And then he's got Mega Aggron and Mew and Mamoswine. His team is gross, but it's good gross.
Yeah. So I picked Nuno. As you said, Tapu Koko, Halucha, those two together have the ability to sweep entire teams. Yeah, Luke's team, he has Z Rufflet. I don't know if I can choose someone who has that until he brings it and wins with it.
He's bringing it this week and winning.
Dude, he better.
Z Rufflet's gonna OHKO and Mega Aggron. I'm calling it right now.
By OHKO, I think you mean something else is gonna get it down to 1%, and then he's
gonna use one move and kill it. One hit KO.
Yeah. I do think Luke has a solid team. I agree 100% with Silvally that, especially it's a tier 2 mon in this. Sure, it gets every type, but at least when I've seen it being used, especially in League, it never has that big of an impact on games.
I can look at a team and see, all right, what does he need? He needs a maybe I don't know. I have to think about it more, but what does work versus his team? Maybe a ground type. Yeah, I bet you he probably brings a ground type Silvally because he needs to check Tapu Koko in some way, and yeah, that would be my guess on what he would bring. So.
Yes, or I could see a dark type from Mew.
Yeah,
but
dark type.
But it's isn't it 90 in all or is it
95? I thought.
So it's not great stats.
It's not even great stats. Yeah.
Yeah, its typing can be good, obviously, but the rest of it's just so mediocre that I don't see putting in much work this season. And Roserade, I really like for Nuno.
Silvally seems like a pick of, I don't have something, so I don't have this type, so let me take Silvally. But then it makes it so obvious on what it's gonna be. So, I personally don't like Silvally. I know it's somewhat used, so
yeah.
I think we'll move on to the next pick where we got another off-season showdown of Hammy versus Devin. Devin barely getting into off season, but he beat the number 1 Sky, who was undefeated. Let's go. That's my boy Devin. And he has another one of my favorite mons in the format in Volcanion, which is I'm a god with Volcanion. Just there's I feel like even though it's limited, it's not because you can run Scarf, AV, like specs. It's a great mon. I ran a Shuka Will-O-Wisp max defense Volcanion against a rain team and then ended up burning a Swampert. So that's why I say I'm the god with Volcanion. But then you also got Hammy's team, which is like really good. Pretty nice, a really nice Firewater Grass Core and Entei Shaman Mega Slowbro. And yeah, I like both their teams, but I gotta go with my boy Devin, who I was rooting for all of off season. He's got the crazy wall breaker in Mega Gardevoir. He's got the other crazy wall breaker in Volcanion and the other crazy wall breaker in Hydreigon. He's got setup mons with Hydreigon, yeah, and Mimikyu. He's got his custom Komala set, Choice Band Sleep Talk, because yes, that works. You can clip Sleep Talk and Choice Band. It'll pick one of your 3 moves. I learned that.
Yeah. So I went the other way. I went with Hammy. I just think that Hammy should be able to like. I really like Hammy's team. Tyranitar's obviously very good. Z. Entei is very good, as was shown off I think last season. And I kind of, at least when I've seen it used, I kind of disagree with Volcanion.
Fuck off.
Being a tier 1, like
Play me 1v1 me Volcanion.
I'm sure you would win that one, because like when I've seen it used, it just hasn't quite reached like the same impact as a lot of the other tier 1s.
I can understand that completely. I do not really like it in tier 1, so it does sometimes lead me to steer away. I usually see it in tier 2, and it's a pretty good choice for me that I like. But I feel like even in tier 1, it does have some. It is a really good mon that I think if used well, it's almost god tier that I would take it over Tapu Koko. Well, I wouldn't, but like,
yeah. And I don't know, just like it's kind of like last season in like this first round, I said how Duck I've heard has had the worst luck, and it turned out to be true. I've heard that Devin slightly too often brings kind of like meme teams and stuff, which I'll get into a little bit later in the next slide. But so I just have to go with Hammy because Devin barely slipped in. I've heard he brings some meme teams kind of sometimes, and I do just.
He brought a fucking like okay. This was kind of a meme team, but it somehow worked with his match versus Sky to see he had to win this match to get into main season. If he didn't, sorry, Devin, you're a spectator, but he brought merciless toxic spikes, the baneful bunker, scald, and Venoshock, and then it ended up killing a Linoon that had it not been merciless, the Linoon would have swept him. So that's interesting. So I think sometimes he thinks he's bringing heat, but in reality he's bringing meme sets that won't actually work. Sometimes he brings stuff that he thinks is heat that like somehow work, like a Komala choice blended with Sleep Talk.
Yeah. See, that's what I've just heard, so I don't know. I
think Devin does have a good chance, but if he plays it well, but then again, I heard Lazy helped him build, so I don't know if I can trust that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lazy. I love you, Spoon. Please don't hate me.
So, with that, are we ready to move into the next?
Yeah, I think we're ready to move on to that. This is our. Oh, mine's a little messed up. Vest is not my lock. I changed it to Nathan because of the Weasel. But yeah, these are all the analyst picks. So, we're gonna be keeping track of them this time,
Hopefully.
and hopefully getting a video up every week instead of like, I'll go like 3 weeks, then I'll forget a week, then like go another go another 3 and then just not do anything till postseason's playoffs. But yeah.
So just kind of the way it works, each one you guess correctly, you get a point, except for your lock of the week, that will be 2 points.
And you'll have a lock of the week overall record as well.
Just because it'll be
that's also like a tiebreaker. So if like at the end of the season, say me and Spoon or me and Cake both have are tied, we have the same record, but he has 3 more correct locks than me, then he'll get the win. He'll be first place, which we don't really get anything, but it's kind of just like a mini competition between us analysts.
Yeah. I think it should make us a little more
competitive with it.
Competitive and keep us in track. I think it'll help us actually do them.
Yeah. A few games are split on is the Hammy Devon game, which Spoon, I'm really disappointed in you for taking Hammy. Yeah.
So can I explain? So you said that he helped build. Maybe that's part of the reason, because so Spoon gave you some notes for the game. Duck, I didn't ask in time, but Spoon told me Pesky's his lock of the week because he's the reigning champ, and really showed that is just absolutely amazing, and he also really likes Pesky's team this year, especially compared to Archfiend's. And then he also said, about the reason he chose Hammy is the fact that he thinks Devin will lose because of meme sets or doing some dumb sets / stuff in the game, trying to power predict, which makes me a little scared.
I can 100% understand that.
Which makes me kind of scared with the fact that you said Lazy probably helped Devin team build, so the fact that he doesn't trust his team.
Oh my god. Well, no, I heard. Okay, this is a spoiler. Don't worry, I picked before the game, and after Devin's game, he goes, "All right, Juicy, I'm asking you for help on team building from now on, because Lazy told me to put more into special book, and then I got swept by a physical attacker." So,
yeah. So,
Spoon is a conflict of interest. I think we need a foul on the fly.
Yeah, he
purposely made Devin throw.
Which, I guess I didn't get some of the picks till later in the week, after some of the games happened. So next time, I'm hoping that we can all get our picks in nice and early. Start working. But I think this would be kind of fun to keep track of, especially now we actually have all 4 putting who and possibly why. There's a lot of one-person switches. You went for Luke, I chose Wolf, Seb was another split one. I think the other two's reasoning was...
No, I mean, I was the only one. Oh, no, yes. Seb Cap was a split one. You're the only one who took Wolf.
Yeah, I'm the one who took Wolf.
And then I was the only one who took Luke. I mean, it's mainly because I have to kind of have trust in Luke, and then Luna's disgusting, so, yeah.
Yeah, my guess, if I got a note about why they chose Seb over Cap, would be probably just them saying fuck Cap.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
I'm 100. Yeah, I'd assume the same thing. And same with the lock. I'd assume Duck's just I mean, if I can't trust Duck, or if I can't trust Cap to run a league, I can't trust him to run a Pokemon team. So
but
which I agree with.
I don't know, I'm happy that there's enough, because what is it, half the games were unanimous, which with only 4 of us, that's not that crazy, but the fact that half the games aren't,
I like it. It's better this year that we don't have 3, so it's just a bit harder to get unanimous, and it's better to get split. So it's not the one person who it's always if it's quote unquote split, it's always one person's picking it and then 2 other people are picking the other. This year you can have 2 and 2, 3 and 1, so you can really know when there's an outlier or it's unanimous. So.
So we'll hopefully get next week's out maybe
Yeah.
a little earlier in
Probably
the week. Probably around
no.
the same time.
Yeah, probably around the same time.
But
We'll have like a weekly schedule.
hopefully we have our picks
We'll
in
try.
earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm interested to see how this week goes. This is probably going to be one of the most
interesting week. It's an interesting week by far.
This will probably be one of the most interesting with Arch and Pesky facing, Amex and Wolf facing. Honestly, even Jason and Vesuvius facing.
Zombie and Nathan as well.
Zombie and Nathan, those are two teams that started strong last season then dropped.
And have two of the best teams in the league.
Yeah. Zeb and Sky, as you said, were the top two in the D League. So like we're getting a lot of these really high ranked from last season, or like close. And even Seb and Cap had pretty similar seasons.
Yeah, they did.
So I think that this one could be very interesting.
I think this could be week of the year or week of the season.
Yep.
Best.
Hopefully.
And who knows? We could have Pesky and Arch and Pesky put up another game of the year performance. So.
Yep. So that's gonna be exciting.
Okay. Well, yeah.
With that.
See you later.
Yep. Peace out.